Hello, hello, welcome. Thursday, October 21st, 2025. Here we are. Thursday, it's our last stream of the week. Thursday is like my Friday, and then Friday is another Friday. Tomorrow we have podcast number 2. Hans, hello. BKBC, hello. DRZ Pens, welcome everybody. What is cooking today? Weather is beautiful outside. Glorious weather. Thank goodness. I'm tired of this hot stuff. Let's see what's in the news. I just received today my my Waterman shipment. So yes, after a long to do Waterman black, blue black, I don't even have my bottle of ink here. Maybe I've got a bottle here. I don't know. Let's see. I guess today we're using Mysterious Blue. I left it downstairs. Intense Black, Mysterious Blue, and Serenity Blue are in stock. Converters. Last stream of the week. So sad. It's been a hot and rainy day. You had a nice lunch and went through a ton of parts for a friend. Yeah, it was. I bet it was a fun time. I wish I could be there. I really do. That would be fun. I don't know though. I'm already. I could get into trouble if I did that, because I just like, yeah, I'll take that. 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 I kind of feel it would have been a lot more fun. I'm sure. It would have gone on all day. It would, yeah. We would. None of us would have got any sleep. We would be like 4 a.m. Be like, you know what? Maybe we should go to sleep. I'd be broke. I'm sure. Like, I'm gonna owe you money. You know how this is gonna play out here. I already owe you for the desk sets. An unexpected package I wasn't expecting. So when the UPS guy comes today, I'm expecting 2 packages. And he's got 3, and I'm thinking, okay, one's for somebody else in the building, and now they're all for me. And I'm like, oh, that package, which had some Esterbrook nibs in it. I didn't even get a chance to open it up. I got some repair supplies. I got my Waterman ink, and I didn't even get to look at it. So I got well, they're not new. They're new to me. They're new to me. The Parker Jotter special editions. Rome and Sydney, and they look fantastic. Of course, there was the Tokyo and the New York, which I've had before, which are okay. New York's black. It doesn't really jazz me up. The Tokyo is nice, but it's pink. It's really a kind of a bright fuchsia, maybe. I don't know. I'm not terribly great with colors, but I mean, it's a really super bright pink. And it's okay. It wouldn't be something that I probably wouldn't. I don't know. But the Rome in Sydney, it's which one is the Rome? I think is a bronze color. Is really nice. The Sydney looks nice. Is navy blue. I think that's the right color. But I better check what these are here. Hang on. Which one is which? And the new jotters are, yeah, Rome is bronze and Sydney is I gotta show these. I don't know which. Oops, not that one. You don't want to see that. There we go. That's the Rome. Did we get it? There we go. It's kind of hard to tell. Really great looking. And the Sydney, the navy blue. You got the opera house in there somewhere. Bunch of other buildings, I don't know what they are. Got those. And Tokyo's nice. Kind of a pink. And New York, I guess New York's cool because it's got the little windows on it. It's a little different. Yeah. So sorry, I didn't have that over on the YouTube thing. The Sydney looks really nice in person. Yeah. Let's go back for the. I'm sorry for folks on YouTube. I didn't. I like this Rome. This looks great. It really looks great. Sydney, yeah. So, those came in today. I'm pretty excited about it. So I like the new jotters. It's the one thing I think over time that's really improved. I wouldn't say that the Parker pens have improved over time. The new 51 is not. The ballpoint's nice. The ballpoint's nice. I mean, we've had some of the pens. The IM was underwhelming. Modern dual folds remain nice but expensive, and that's the problem, right? Because they're ridiculously, in my opinion, the new modern dual folds are ridiculously expensive, and at that price point, there are a ton of other options. I mean, they're. You don't ever hear of anybody saying, "Oh, well, I went and bought a modern dual fold." Now, they may appeal to a different set of collectors, maybe an older collector that's been collecting them since the 90s, since the Centennial Internationals came out, 80s, and maybe those people aren't on social media as much. That could be a reason. Um, maybe they don't. I mean, I can't believe it's a case of they don't need to sell that many to make their money. But um, you don't go on social, you don't go on Reddit and see someone talk about the latest modern duofold. I like the sonnets, but the caps are just, they don't, the pen dries out. And the steel nibs are they're not good. They're just not good. Um, and maybe they're just not good because the cap doesn't seal and they dry out. I mean, I guess they're fine, but when I open the pen, and I like the look of the pen, it's very similar to the Schaefer Prelude. And I actually like it better than the Prelude, but it's still, it doesn't jazz me up. And I guess maybe my past experience, I mean, maybe they're better. I don't know, but every one that we had, I mean, the red one was gorgeous. They probably still even make that one. It's gorgeous, but I wanted to write when I take the cap off, like some of the time. I mean, not all the time. I can deal with that, but like all the time it doesn't write. It's unacceptable. It's really unacceptable. And then I'm not even gonna. I think the design of like even the Jotter fountain pen it's not good. It's ugly. But the ballpoints, the Jotter ballpoints, the XL, really, really good. Really, really very good. I know this is a pen channel. It's not necessarily a fountain pen channel, but so I mean that's why I carry the ballpoints, because I like them. You got something good that you need to knock around with, or we always had when we're packing up orders. Every day you would get your, I would watch Dave get set up. And everybody's got their own ritual, right? I'd watch Dave get set up. He'd pull out his pen case. He'd pull out his fountain pen. He'd pull out his ballpoint. He'd pull out like 3 pens. I think 2 of them are ballpoints. Because writing on packages, I need a ballpoint. And right now I'm doing slips on labels, so I need a ballpoint. A fountain pen is just not going to work. So I need a ballpoint. And I like that click mechanism on the modern Jotter is got the. I'm sure there's someone out there who can tell you how many pounds of pressure that it takes to press that down. It's the right amount. It's enough to make it feel like the click. Perfect. It's perfect. Really good. Anyway, Waterman ink is now in stock. Black, intense black, mysterious blue, serenity blue, black, blue, blue, black. If you're in need of that, finally is in stock. So I'm very happy about that. In fact, I was rushing. I had an appointment this afternoon, and using a 75 ballpoint. That desk pen. Yeah, that's killer. It just exotic enough to keep your interest. Yeah. And that I think that's, and I think for a lot of people that if you're not into ballpoints and roller balls, and I get it, I think the fact a fountain pen is exotic, right? I was talking to a salesman on the phone today, and he's like, "Oh, so you sell reproductions?" No, man, I sell the real deal. Late 1880s, 1950s. What your grandpa would use. Oh, really? I mean, but if you're used to fountain pens, and I think we all lie to ourselves sometimes. I don't need to use a ballpoint. I mean, I'm like completely not ready today. My ballpoint's downstairs. I've got one. Sometimes you need a ballpoint. You really do. And there are some good refills. There's some really good refills. So, anyway. Yeah, and I think if you have a nice ballpoint and it's just the right amount of exotic. Actually, I got one. I've got 2 in here. I've got ST DuPont vintage copper, real nice pen. So I like to have. Dropped a pen. Thank goodness for carpet. Yeah. So I'm of all things, I'm using a Cross Classic Century. They came out with titanium gray. It's not really titanium, but they call it titanium gray. Really nice. It's got a nice knurled section on it. It's on my desk. If you watch any old video, you'll see it. It's really a great pen. The irony is, I like the Cross broad refills. They're fantastic. Like, they should do away with the fine, and they should get rid of the medium, and they should only put broad refills in their pens, because they're fantastic. I don't have a broad refill in this pen. I don't know why. I guess I'm using up the medium. I use it every day. So, all right, should we take a look at what we got on the bench today? We got a blurry bench. I've got some coffee I'm trying to finish up since I was busy. My daughter was over. Taking some pictures for tomorrow. So I didn't really get as much stuff done as I wanted to today. And this coffee is getting cold, so I really have to drink it fast. We've got our SM Deluxes. We got the 2 LKs that have been soaking overnight. Fingers crossed they're going to actually happen. I am going to work on this snorkel first, though. I think I'll get that done. Hopefully, if the snorkel tube depth is right, we can put this thing together and go back to the client tomorrow. He'll be pleased as punch. Brian, I don't know if you're in the chat, but if you are, we're gonna work on your pen here shortly. All right, I've got let's see, what else is cooking here before we get cooking. I know I've got some those consignment pens I talked about yesterday. Good afternoon, Eric. How are you? Are you going to retip any nibs? Absolutely not. Like, nobody does that anymore. Almost nobody. We actually, if you look back, gosh, how many days ago was it, Hans? Just a few days ago, we discussed this. It's tens of thousands of dollars of equipment and in setup and expertise. It's a lot of stuff that nobody wants to do, really. Everybody wants it, but nobody wants to invest in the materials. Well, I mean, some people even want to invest in the materials, but you bought more nib tipping material yesterday. Yeah, what we were saying, it's in the $20,000 range to get set up just to do it, at least. And it's not my interest, actually. I tell folks, I've been trained by Richard Binder. I've been to his house twice for his nib seminars. But I don't offer grinding services. I know how to do it. I just don't. It's something you need to do every day. Like anything else, you need to do it every day. You know, like I repair pens every day, so the muscle memory's there. But you know, you have specialists. You have Linda Kennedy who does it every day of the week, right? Straightening and all that stuff. I can do some of it. I'm okay at most of it. My training has allowed me to be able to, at least on the nibs that we sell, get them to work and to write. But it's really not, to me, that is not my interest. I'd rather repair the pen and then send the nib off. So you've got a 1960s 149 that deserves a little help. Yeah. I don't have any good recommendations for you. I mean, John Modishaw had to retire at some point, and he retired, and now he's got another company. So, but he doesn't do tipping anymore. And I tried to get the Kennedys to do it. I bring it up to them about once every 9 months. And I think Linda wants to slap me every time I bring it up. So you don't want Linda to slap you. That's for sure. All right, let's take a look. We also have this mustard. We're gonna try to get the jewel off if we can. That's good to go. We also have, we've got this that we kind of did up yesterday. See if it comes off. Maybe grind it to a stub. I mean, before you go down that road, I would consult with an expert first what the best options are. Yeah, actually, I'm going to do this one first since I started it. It could be a very, very pleasing experience. Yeah, is the tipping completely gone or is it just bent? I would definitely consult with somebody first, especially before you start doing anything on your own. And especially on a 140. Well, I do believe this worked. So thank you, Hans, for the recommendation. Yeah, Linda's a good recommendation. Your best bet is to try to hit her up at a pen show. What do we got coming up that she might be going to? I don't know. I guess Columbus isn't too far away. I mean, if we're almost into September 1st, we're 2 months away. We're 9 weeks away from Columbus. I better start saving some money. Hans, I can't be buying stuff from you. I gotta save my money. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, and if you don't know, their business is independence. Never feel obligated to buy from you. Well, I've sold like I don't know what the number is. Since Friday, I mean, I've probably sold close to 100 pens. So I'm going to need to replace some of that stock. I'm actually surprised at how well this worked. I mean, I didn't expect it not to work, I suppose, but and if you do contact Linda, I do mention you talk to me. I like to make sure that they know where they're getting referrals from. It's probably not gonna get you, you know, it's not gonna do anything for you, but you know, you're not gonna get bumped to the front of the line. But if they know that I'm sending people to them, sometimes it can be good. Well, it benefits me, which then eventually benefits everybody. Because they help me out with parts and pens that end up on the website. All right. Well, this is exciting. This is exciting for a number of reasons. Number one, it's a Parker 21 set that is eventually going to be um, leaving my house, hopefully. But it has been on my bench for the better part of, I don't know, 2 months, a month. And it sounds like all the desk sets will maybe be up on the website within a week. We had to I had to fill postal buckets and laundry baskets full of these to take them to the photography. It was hilarious. And I was really glad that my daughter was able to shoot them pretty expediently, because I was trying to figure out how I was going to explain why there was not why there was a laundry basket missing before Lisa discovered because it's probably bad enough that I have this sets. But then I'm, just trying to do laundry or something, and I've got them all occupied. You may be able to get me 10 or 12 51s next week on consignment. You're looking at another collection? Okay. Yeah, let me know. Well, laundry basket full of pens. I mean, there's, they would hold like 6 or 8, and that was it. I mean, I had like, it was ridiculous. As long as none of the 51s need capsules removed. Okay. But an Italic brought M200 nib from Stylo Style. Couldn't find them in the US. Now I'm wondering what else I should get at the 11th hour. You have a couple shipments on the way from Japan. You made it some interesting Japanese stationery or staplers. Oh my god. I've been very quiet about that swing line stapler that I was not allowed to buy in St. Louis. I will find one. Sad thing is I can't remember who the seller was. I don't think he was a regular on the show circuit. I think he was maybe a St. Louis area member or something. All right. I think that's pretty good. We'll just have to. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. That's great. That's really, really great. You were looking at state sales for one of them. Nice. That one was well. I still have the link up. Yeah, the swing line 333. In case anybody is forgets this awesome stapler. The best part of it is the head-on shot, which they don't seem to have a picture of. In this listing. Let's see here. Maybe not my favorite color. But yeah, it's got this little round thing going on here. There we go. There's the money shot. 333, yeah. Wood grain. Huh. A little beat up. Yeah, back to the stapler. Yeah, sorry. All right. Dust base is done. That looks great. I think it's about as... Something tells me it's a little bit... It'd be a good match for the station wagon, right? Yeah. Something tells me it's a little bit slightly off, but it could be just the marbling. I mean, it looks close enough. Can't change it now. I grew up with station wagons. Well, I guess most of us of a certain age. There was no such thing as an SUV. I need to get one of those little plug-in things that heats up your coffee, so it keeps it warm. I just can't drink cold coffee. All right, let's get to this guy. I would love to be able to get this in and out in a couple of days. Got the big notch. Oh, we got some replacement parts here, clearly. That's okay. Back to this. You know, if it would have been $10, it'd have been no big deal. But I think it was $2. And he had it on the table for $3. And I just should have. I think the problem was I didn't have any singles on me. Otherwise, it would have been, that money would have been out of my pocket in no time flat. I mean, yeah, I've got 3 other staplers. I don't have a 333 though. I've got a red swing line. I guess that's cool. Although I'm not sure where it is. Next time, just kind of buy that random stuff and tell Lisa it's for you. Then we can trade for it later. You know, she used to tune in and listen to the Twitch stream while she worked, but she can't do that now. We're on, brother. It's not going to be much, but it might be something once in a while. That's a great idea. I mean, yeah. I mean, it was like I said, it was It was literally $2. My big batch of PFMs left this morning. I was so happy because I kept, sometimes you get stuff in and you keep the packaging because you know that that's the best way to ship it back. And so I had this huge box with a ton of bubble wrap and and these plastic pen container storage tubes from the client, and so I'm saving all this stuff, and I got nowhere to put it, so it's literally on the dinner table. And so this morning I'm like, free bubble wrap. Well, see, that's the problem because I had to use pretty much all of it back up in the package. Like there was like one little piece that I didn't need. So I guess I am bubble wrap positive. It was always nice when you start getting packages in regularly, the amount of bubble wrap and paper that you need is, I mean, it's reduced significantly. And I have tried very hard over the last couple of years to refine the packing so that we reduce the bubble wrap usage in the plastic and the peanuts. We no longer buy peanuts. If you get a package from me and it contains peanuts, that's because I do have one vendor that sends me stuff with peanuts. So I don't throw anything away, any packing material. I do have one vendor that sends me packages with like the newspaper in it. I don't like to use that because it's, you get stuff on your hands, and I don't want it to get on the boxes or whatever. But other words, that just gets recycled. But other words, everything that comes in goes out. A couple of years ago, I just found that we were spending so much money on peanuts and bubble wrap, and the simple solution was literally just to buy more stuff and to use paper. And we could get paper from the local Habitat for Humanity restore for cheaper than we could get it literally anywhere else. So giant roll of craft paper. Yeah, so we were able to get, I think there are 4-foot rolls we have to cut them in half. It's one of these things we would do on Fridays because it's hilariously stupid. We would cut them in half, and so they would fit in a 2 foot um, a 2 foot paper dispenser. But we would get these 4 foot rolls for something like $5, maybe 10. I don't think they were 10. I think they might have been like $5. And like we would go, and I don't think Lisa likes me very much when we end up there, because I look at this stuff and I say, and I ask the important questions. I say, well, how much, because Lisa orders like all the supplies. I said, well, how much does it cost us to get a roll of craft paper? What is our cost on that average? What does it cost for shipping supplies? What does it cost for bubble wrap? And she tells me, I said, so this is a good deal. She goes, this is a really good deal. I said, we're going to buy all of it. Go get another cart. We're going to fill it up. The back of the V-dub's going to be like, we're going to be pimped out. She's like, well, no, why don't we just this will set us, I think we buy all of it. Because they would sell this, they have contracts through School Specialty. And School Specialty would donate all their unused stuff. And so they would have, you have to buy all of it. They would have, and the funny thing is nobody said anything ever about this. We would get this, it was actually lettering paper so that kids could learn how to write. And it's terrible paper, right? You would never use a fountain pen on it, ever. But it's fantastic for wrapping around boxes and for putting, for packaging material. You bought 2,000 padded envelopes once. You still have a couple hundred left. Now, do you use them as padded envelopes, or do you cut them up and use them to wrap things in? Because sometimes I would do that. You bought a cross walnut-based desk set, including the pen and pencil, like 5 years ago. Yeah, I run across those every once in a while at an antique store, and I'm like, maybe I should get one of them. But yeah, we would go, and there would be like reams of this lettering paper for young kids. You do it as padded envelope, okay, and it would be like 50 cents. I kind of looked around and said, is there anybody else buying this stuff? Because if there's not, I'm buying all of it. Go get the cart. We have a whole back seat, which is huge on a Passat. If you don't, if you've got a Passat, you understand. The back seat is ridiculously large for a mid-sized sedan, and the trunk is huge. And so we bought that. We bought these craft paper rolls for like $5. And in fact, we didn't get them all because they're super heavy. And Lisa was like really questioning my sanity. But I'm like, we have to buy all of these, every one. She was not amused. But we have them. Please go back in right. Please go back in right. Oh! Oh. Yeah, this is the benefit of when you can get this apart without the snorkel tube coming out. So yeah, we started buying that stuff from For the Win. Yeah, today is a good day. It's going to get even better, I suspect. Yeah, if you don't have to pull that snorkel tube, you don't have to mess with dealing with that. We did find out yesterday, and I'm sorry, Brian, I don't want to out you, but I think this is important to mention. So whether you're in the chat now or you're watching this later, people don't know who you are anyway, so we don't have to worry about that. The reason this sack failed, we know the reason. 2 rounds of Iroshizuku just completely melted the sack. Don't put a Roshizuku in your snorkel. I didn't like that first fill, but there we go. Look at that. Try one more time. And I don't believe there was, if I'm not mistaken, he said that there wasn't. I don't think there was any other ink in it. You know what I want to do? Is I didn't take this apart, but I just want to check. I want to put a little silicone in the blind cap here, if there's not any in there already. No shimmer either. Remind me again why I like vintage pens. Because they're cool. Because you can get decent ones with gold nibs, and they're not gonna cost what gold nib pens are going for in modern. All right, so we got a little extra silicone in there. There wasn't anything in there, so I think that coupled with there. Pen Addict rating with the party. Pen Addict still going on at 2:52 in the afternoon. Hello to you, Lee. How you doing? Olive, welcome from Corolla. Hello. Welcome abroad. Mike. Jason. Plugwalda. Am I getting them all? Newland. Hello, hello. Adeline. Feeling crabby. All right. Evening. It's going to be a good evening. I just know it. How's everything going on over at the Pen Addict today? I don't know that I got a notice that there was a stream today. I must have missed that. Oh yeah, an hour ago. Was it a shipping stream or what was it? Thursday? I started late because he was at the dentist. Oh, at the dentist. His birthday stream is his birthday? Happy birthday, Brad. You had a party in there without me? Yeah, sorry. I was super busy this afternoon. Running around. Normally I turn it on while I'm shipping and packaging, doing packages and stuff in the morning, but um, I had to run out and do something with my daughter and meet Lisa for lunch. Well, we didn't actually eat. And I asked her, I said, well, we got together and I said, well, I better let you go. She's got an hour for lunch. And 42. Wow. Boy, do I feel old. And she says, oh, don't worry. She says, I've got some Pop-Tarts. I said, you've got to be kidding me. New store doing all right. Yeah, it's really, it's gone very well. I wish my shelves were completely full, but they are what they are. They're gradually getting filled up. I got my Waterman ink in today finally, so I've got black, Mysterious Blue, Serenity Blue in stock. A couple of Waterman things that I was missing. Some jotters came in today. I've got what have I got coming this week? I got some Midoriya's coming, Mariamon, and some new Apica coming like in a week. You just got a box yesterday. You need to film the unboxing. You haven't opened it yet? So Midoriya's been real hot, so I got more of that coming. I've got some Sailor coming, some Tuzus, so I'm excited about that. The new colors, which reminds me I got to put those up on the website at some point. I really like that pen. I think it's a great. I think it's a serious contender for. Oh yeah, you got home. I hope it's all good. I think it's a serious competitor for the Lamy Safari. And some Sailor ink. Not a lot of it. I haven't signed the Sailor retail dealer agreement yet. And they have two different. You buy the letter writing sets. Which ones do you like? They have two different dealer agreements. One for Atoya, which includes Sailor Compass, which does include some of the standard inks and the States inks, and then the Sailor agreement is, of course, the gold nib pens, and then it includes the Manyo and the Shikiori and all that stuff. So I haven't signed that agreement yet. That's a little bit more fiscally intensive. They're going to be selling modern pens into, yeah. So we do have. They're going to be coming in slowly but surely. I've got Twisby in. I've got more Twisby on the way, including the new Affogato, which is coming, which is launching on the 27th. Pre-sale start on the 25th. We've got the Serpentine Bronze, of course, is the one before that. The Tuzu's coming. I've got some modern jotters. What else? And what am I forgetting? I've got Retro 51. Some ballpoints. I haven't ventured into the fountain pens on that yet. But it's probably just a matter of time. I kind of have the Retro 51, the old fountain pens in the back of my head before they switched to Yovo. That's how long it's been. I was not a fan. So yeah, we'll be getting as many as we can muster, and I'm trying to balance it out too, because I know people want paper and they want ink, and I, starting out from zero, you got to try to figure out what people are going to buy, so that whatever you buy you sell, so you can buy more stuff, right? So and I'm sticking with what I'm trying to do is I've picked a couple of vendors, and I'm trying to get the majority of those vendors' catalogs to a good spot. To me, it doesn't really pay to, buy from 10 vendors and then only have like, 4 SKUs from one and 4 SKUs from the other. I mean, it's really be very difficult to. You were thinking it was going to be just vintage for some reason. Well, I mean, it's a lot of vintage. It's a lot of it. I'll give you that. But there's also going to be there's a lot of consignment modern pens too. So I've got a number of consigners actually right now. So we've got some pseudo modern, maybe vintage modern, semi modern. I don't know how you want to discuss it. But eventually, yeah, we're going to work our way into having a number of brands. But yeah, right now I'm focusing on Parker Waterman, Twisby, some of the Atoya and Sailor Compass. Maybe not the Compass pens so much, but the Tuzu and some of the other things that come in that Compass lineup and that Atoya lineup. So Oasis journals and things like that. And so I get to a point where I have pretty much full stock of that vendor. Then I'm going to move on to another vendor. I want to get Lamy, but Lamy is like huge, right? It's a lot of colors. It's a lot of, it's a lot of money, right? So we'll slowly build it up. I mean, it's been 6 days now. So it feels like it's been 6 years. But yeah, it'll be modern. I mean, eventually I'm going to run out of vintage. Although I don't know, Hans is doing a pretty good job of keeping me supplied. How do I go about purchasing one of the pens you're working on? Well, it depends on what it is. Right? This particular pen is a client's pen, so this one's not for sale. Shoot me an email. hello@cardinalpens.com. Most of the vintage stuff that I work on, like this, if we get this mustard finished, we're going to work on this in a little bit. This one will be for sale. It comes with the Moblock electronic paper notebook. Yeah, I can't forget that. This one comes with a matching pencil. So just shoot me an email, and I'll tell you whether or not it is for sale. And basically, most of this stuff is. I'm running a little bit of a deficit here. I've got probably 100, maybe 200 pens that I've restored that need to be polished and then photographed and put on the site. So anything I do, like when we get to the Esterbrook Deluxe, those I don't know when they're going to be up, but if there's something you're interested in, we can get it up quickly. We can bump it to the top of the line. You have a vintage Retro 51. You actually contacted Retro 51 directly, and they were able to find it in an old newsletter. Oh, yeah? It's a roller ball or a fountain pen? Their double eights were really nice. We all know what those were. We actually had George Kartsodis's personal double eights, which were serial number 51 one point. Those are pretty awesome. Really neat. Celluloid. So yeah, we're gonna try to build up the stock. Fountain pen, okay, blue and green demo. Oh, neat. It's just gonna take a little bit. Basically, the proceeds of the vintage stuff funds the modern stuff. And that's all right because we started from zero once before. Now we can hopefully learn from our past. I like to think I'm wiser. All right, let's see. Since I left my black downstairs. I'm also, this time around, I'm very interested in stocking certain papers. And I'll be honest, I know we did a fairly poor job of it at some point. Um, we had good intentions, but um, we could have done better, and I want to rectify that because the replenishable things are. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have pens, but um, people need paper and they need ink. Do you ever have exclusive collaborations? And did you ever have exclusive collaborations? But yeah, we had quite a number of them actually. We did. What did we do? We did 2 with Delta. We did 4 different pens with Sailor. We did how many with Franklin Christoph? 219. I think 4. I think there were 4 with 4 different pens with Franklin Christoph. We did 2 with Edison. We talked about this on one of the last Anderson Pens podcasts, and it was funny because we sat there and we were going to talk about. It might have been the last one. I can't remember. But we were having a conversation at breakfast at the breakfast table, and we were like, okay, well, what were the exclusives that we had? And we were trying to write them down, and then we got into the store and we were talking with Dave, and Dave's like, oh, well, what about X, Y, and Z? Oh, we did. Oh, of course, we did 1, 2, 4 with Retro 51. The Cardinal pen sounds like it could be interesting as a theme. Who would you do it with? We've actually had an offer of a collaboration with somebody, so I think we're probably going to exercise that at some point. Maybe fairly soon. I don't really know. We'll see. Retro 51 unfortunately already did like a Cardinal Retro, um, which is too bad because I doubt they would let us do anything reasonably similar. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, but I personally don't think I don't think there could be enough rollerballs, ballpoints, or fountain pens with cardinals on them. I just don't think there are. I just Let's see how this guy does here. So yeah, there will be. I'm sure there will be some. Yeah, we have had one offer already that we didn't. It wasn't even. We didn't even reach out. They like said, "Hey, you want to do something? You let me know." Is it with Montegrappa? Full sizes cardinal on the barrel? Yeah, yeah. Little cardinal on the top of the cap, the beak. They're going to be 2 because there's got to be a male and a female. With a gold nest pen. There we go. Yeah. Gold nest pen rest. When you cap the pen, they are finally together. You guys. If I get an email from Montegrappa, of course, Montegrappa sells direct now. So When you clip it, the birds. Oh, there we go. I like that. When you clip it, the birds kiss. That's a great, great idea. 18 karat gold and platinum. Yep. Or is that too mundane material wise? I don't know. I think there needs to be like a snake involved, maybe. Isn't it a requirement for Montegrappa to have a snake? I like the Lindsay, that was a good idea. Bird's kiss. Yeah, this is nice. All right, this is good. I think we are good here. Clean this up. Rubies or emeralds for the eyes, yeah. I have sort of some sound box that tweets when you cap it. Open the box and it chirps. You're full of those. Yeah, you're full of something, aren't you? It's a good idea, though. Like a 19th century French music box. Yeah, yeah, there we go. Call of the Cardinal. I keep looking for the box, but this is not my normal bottle of ink. I better get done before. Well, no, I'm not going to get done before Lisa gets home. She's going to see a bottle of ink sitting down in the kitchen. Oops. Yeah, so it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see. I don't know when we're going to take that particular company up on their offer. And I don't know what the design would be like with that particular company. Just looked it up. The Retro 51 is the Ranger model. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they have most of their old catalogs are online on their site. Yeah, those double eights though, and then they had these huge boxes for these double eights. Have you heard of the Browse fountain pens? Picked one up at a flea market. The piston isn't sealing well, so ink gets behind it. No, I've not. I've not heard of them. I didn't even know they made fountain pens. Probably an older model, I'm guessing. I don't know. Or is it vintage Browse? Yeah, this is nice now. This will work fine. If you're listening. Oh no, what do we got here? Something like this, but in bird. Oh my heavens. Wait, okay, hang on. Hang on. Matching pair of mirror image gold enamel, agate, pearl, and diamond set singing bird pistols. Made for the Chinese market. Circa 1820. Oh my heavens. Oh, there's the bird there. Yeah. That's ridiculous. They had a line of fountain pens too. Oh, okay. You pull the trigger and the bird comes out and sings. Oh, so that's what they've got yeah. So if you're doing your duel, it makes it more civilized. Is that the idea? Can you imagine? What is the estimate on this nonsense? Price realized 45,000 Hong Kong. Or what does that translate to in 5.8 million dollars. Oh, oh. $5.8 million. I mean, I guess. They probably have them in a lighter version. Yeah. All right. Just about the right price for a Monte Grappa store exclusive. Fuzzy, how you doing? Yeah, I mean, you don't need to sell many. You need to sell one is what you need to sell. Right? You need to find one guy. That's the part where I don't understand. You just purchased the Pilot Custom 98, like I literally just put that up this afternoon. You hope the mustard color is similar to the one on your tray. Yeah, it's pretty similar. It's pretty similar. It's maybe a little bit brighter. It's very similar. It's a nice mustard. It's really a nice mustard. When Monte Grappa does these, like, solid gold, and then there's a sterling edition, and then there's a platinum edition, like, at what point do you go, you know what? Sterling is my limit. 15,000, can't go above it, At what point does that make sense? I don't know. All right, that one's done. That's cool. It's good. My polish cloth's downstairs too. All right, this I don't want to do, but we got to do it. I really want this off the bench. It's only been on the bench for one day, and I already don't like it. All right, let's see if we can get this off without anything bad happening to it. But you can't sell a mustard set with a clip that doesn't tighten. Yeah, I would have expected those to be lighters, not actual firearms. I don't know. Somebody contact Monte Grappa for me, will you? Tell them we'll work on a consignment basis. They make the pen. I'll be willing to take a smaller cut. Oh, their music box is in the shape of this. Oh, okay. Cardinal pens would actually be a good name for a pen brand of its own. Well, it's funny you should mention that. I don't have it here, but it was the name of a pen company. It was a brand of pen, believe it or not, back in the 50s and 60s, which was another reason that gotta go. Good to be here for the first time. Yeah, thanks so much, Morpheus. Was another kind of a hidden reason amongst many reasons to call it Cardinal Pens. There was a company in New Jersey that marketed a pen called Cardinal. And maybe we'll tell I won't tell the story now because I think I'll probably tell the story tomorrow. I might. It was on slate for story time at the podcast, but there was some possibility that I need to use my specs here, that this Cardinal Pen Company was an offshoot of Esterbrook. I don't think that to be the case now. Even though they were within reasonable distance. Oh, I think it was owned by a different company. Revive the brand like they did with Esterbrook. If you were to design and make your own pen, what would it look like? It'd be a lever filler. That's what it would be. We don't need any more cartridge converter pens. I mean, it's really hard. Yeah, it'd look like if it'd be a double jewel something, and it would have a lever. I'm sure it would be a lever filler. I think we've kind of run the course of what to expect when we create a cartridge converter pen. Yeah. Are there any new lever fillers? Not really. Every once in a while, Delta comes out with one. Lever in the shape of a wing. Might be hard to implement. Maybe a new twist filler to torment future pen. Yes, absolutely. Something like, what is it? The new, how about a feather? Yeah. What was it Conway Stewart made a lever filler, and then they made it like impossible to repair. Like you look at it and you go, okay, well, this is cute, but you can't ever fix it. So hope it doesn't go bad on you. Has to be a wing, surely. I mean, vaguely. Same as the Pelican clip doesn't really look like a bill. Yeah. 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 I don't know. I mean, there's possibilities. There's endless possibilities. The record, I hate doing this, by the way. Because there's no fixing this if this doesn't go right. You would think there would be better materials for sacks now. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's not. Every version of sack has its downside. Everyone has got an issue. You know, silicone's great, except it's air permeable, you know. As Hans just points out. PVC is great, but it's bad for celluloid. All right, we're gonna try naphtha. Metal or ebonite? Well, I mean, it's got to be. You gotta be able to compress it. All right, well, we're gonna try naphtha now. Hey, it's Cardinal Pen Day for you. Who knew a Parker 45 would write so nice? I love those pens. I've actually got one destined to show off tomorrow that I am shocked is still available. I love 45s. There aren't enough of them in this world for me. All right, so we'll let that sit in the naphtha for a while. I guess it's Thursday. I'll check it over the weekend, but it should be fine all weekend. No, you meant for the pen. It doesn't react to the better sack materials. Hans Flint, yeah. Maybe just a straw to get ink into the pen. Yeah. I don't know. Basically done. I think it came. Did it come in that? That's what it's going out in. I can't remember. If you're watching, Brian, I'll get in touch with you. Your pen can ship out tomorrow. Yeah, PVC is a good option for ebonite. Okay. We don't have anything that is assembled, do we? Speaking of materials, didn't they have cartridges made out of glass originally? Yeah, yeah. So the very first ones, Eagle. Waterman had them too. Yeah, the original cartridges were glass. I have a funny. It's not funny, I guess, but I have a memory of we had an Eagle, the last Eagle cartridge pen I had, and they're very early, right? Usually metal body. And the nipple on the that you put the cartridge on had expanded somewhat. And I had a real good customer who came in and he wanted to see it because it's an early piece, and he took it out, and then before I could say, don't try to put the cartridge on, he tried to put the cartridge on and he broke the cartridge. The cartridge cracked. She's like, well, I guess I bought it. It wasn't terribly expensive. So. All right, we're gonna clean these. I think we got the barrels all set. We just didn't bother to clean these. Is it 328 already? One's not coming open. All right, I am gonna. So these two actually have the same color jewels. Since we've got the spinner, I can put these in the ultrasonic and we can spin them out. I'm going to be a little more careful about the LK caps because they, if there's any flaking starting, putting them in the ultrasonic will just rip that stuff right off. Vibranium sacks. Maybe. Vibranium. Is that a real thing? How about an eyedropper? Comes with a pipette that looks like a worm, and the opening in the pen looks like an open bird's mouth. Or maybe you flip the back end of the pen open. Maybe it's going too far. Oh, it's a silly Marvel Universe material to do anything? Okay. Yeah, it sounds like we're over-engineering a pen that... A little switch that opens a bird mouth on the finial. Yeah, something like that. Well, this emerald green is not coming open, so that's exciting. Because, you know, like, it's the best color. Although I like that blue. That blue is really nice. Ooh, excuse me. You want this pen now? Mini baby bird size? You could have a set of them. I mean, you need to have a set of pens, I think. Maybe two. If you had like a marbled black with, or marbled red with some black elements, and then maybe you had another one that had some brown in it for the female. That might be kind of cool. If it's the right kind of marbling. Like how they did back in the 30s. I honestly don't like most of the marbled plastics that come out now. They're just not, they don't look right to me. And that's, and I'm not saying it's not right. I've just spent a long time looking at 1930s celluloids and acrylics. And so when it doesn't look like that, it looks different to me. They're a little more subtle 100 years ago than they are today. And I realize some of the pens today are not meant to be subtle. They're the exact opposite of that. Wow, this didn't even move an inch. We're going to put that back in the tonic. Let's try the gray one. I did like the Sailor Mosaics. I thought was a really nice acrylic. The green especially. Not a big fan of the red, which was really pink. But the gray was nice. The brown was especially nice. Well, I hope this nib comes out on this one. Oh, the nib is even stuck. Well, I'll tell you what. I would break this pen just to get the nib out, because this has got the 9312. So, subtle opinion, body of the pen is rippled in the colors of a cardinal. Then a hooded nib with two holes on either side like nostrils on the beak. Subtle option. Subtle option. Two holes on either side. Well, it could also be two. Like the heart on a platinum. They could also be, you know, because a lot of those hooded pens, you know, right when the 61 came out, everybody started putting little inlays on their hooded sections. You know, Esterbrook had two different versions actually. Maybe you do it. Maybe you do it as like a Zogan inlay. You have a Japanese pen that has a hooded nib with the hood that looks like a okay. Now you see, you just can't do that. You just can't do. Sometime, please, in the next couple of days, by the weekend, when you got time, find the pen, take a picture, send it to me, something, because I need to see, I think we need to see that. The nib looks like a koi. You never cease to amaze me. Never. See, the problem now is I got a company to run. I can't just like get up and drive to visit you. Give you a few minutes. I'm sure. I'm just never surprised. He's just typing that into ChatGPT now. Yeah, I think we got a little movement here. Of course, it's got to be on the gray, which I've got, you know, two others of. But this one's got a nice barrel. There's no, the barrel end's not chewed up on this one. Now, I don't know if this gap was there before, but there is a little gap. I've noticed it now, so we'll. As long as I'm at it, I'll look at the shaper that we've been trying to get open forever. Doesn't look like it's gonna. You break many trying to open them. Well, I mean, the goal is not to break them. It's a very, 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 very tiny percentage. I mean, it happens. Usually I err on the side. We have to fit googly eyes on the pen too. Yeah. Yeah. Screen Maquille, perhaps, with dragons chasing cardinals. I guess that would be the indie edition. I mean, I got a pile of pens on my desk here. Well, not a pile. There's one. There's another. Yeah, these two here, they just won't open. And I just would rather not break them than I would rather have them in this condition. I mean, I have a great cap here. probably what's going to end up happening is I'm going to need a cap for something. Yeah, I'm going to need a cap for something, and then maybe at least I can do it. Now, it's possible that this will open, but I have tried. Mike Kennedy has tried both of these pens actually recently. And this one is ebonite. So the fact that this doesn't open with heat and a lot of heat, somebody glued this together. Yeah, this is a shame because this is this is an expensive pen. It would really be nice to put it in my catalog, but it's just not going to happen. It just can't happen. But the cap is really perfect. I don't think it's super glue because super glue is essentially water soluble. So it would have eventually after soaking in water, it would have given loose a little bit. If it won't open anyway, do you really try wrenching on it or no? Well, I mean, I don't know what we get by getting to the point where we break it, you know. Because if it breaks, I don't have parts for it. Either one of these. I mean, this doesn't look like much, but this is actually a seriously cool pen. I mean, look at this. I love some of these British pens. I mean, look at that lever. How cool is that? This cap band. I mean, it's brass. It's gold fill. I mean, oddly enough, the clip is very, very plain. It's got this nice little barrel end here. Yeah, you hope it doesn't, but it can't be used otherwise anyway. Yeah, well, I mean, let's put it this way. I don't normally use section pliers. I've got 3 pair of them here on my bench. I don't normally use them. If you see me using them, and it's for, and I'm not working on like an Esterbrook pastel or a demi-vac that has those really short sections that are just really hard to get your fingers on. The chances are pretty good that pen's not opening up. A lot of heat. I haven't tried this in a while. But they sleeved these with, what is it? Is it aluminum? I can't remember. There's a metal sleeve in here. And usually what happens is it corrodes and you just can't get the dang thing apart. Here we go. All right, let's see. What on earth is this? What? What is this? That's the bottom. All right, those are the gills. I would have sworn you were BSing me. Look at that stuff. That's insane. That is so strange. That is so strange. Today I learned. Yeah, I mean, you know, I guess we could do that. You really have to do a Cardinal one? Yeah, I've never seen one of those before. I've never seen one of those before. I mean, I've I won't say I've seen a lot of pens, but this is new to me. This is I've I would rate my experience with Japanese pens to be like 30%. You know, I've seen a lot, but there's a lot of Japanese stuff I don't know anything about. With googly eyes, yeah. Actually, what it needs is it needs a coin cell battery at the back, and then you push a button, and then the eyes light up. Maybe because that should be fairly easy to implement. Look at that. That's nuts. That's nuts. And the gills on the bottom. I mean, there was some thought that one. Can you imagine the bulb filler? Can you imagine? I always think about this. I say, can you imagine the day somebody came up with something like this? Like there was a meeting. There was a meeting about this pen. Can you imagine how that went? Hey, so I got this great idea. Like how much sake was involved? How much sake was involved in making this thing? I got a great idea. It's going to sell millions. We make a hooded nib pen, and we make the hood look like a koi. Come by. It's a really pretty red color. Yeah. You thought the beer bottle shaped pens were neat, and then I found that one. Yeah. All the sake. It was all the sake. Oh man, I bet you do. I bet you do. All of the sake. Yeah, if that was chosen, what was cut as an option? Yeah, because you got to have multiples. You can't just say, well, there's a koi and. And that's the end of the discussion. Yeah, what else? What else? What else could there have been? Was there a cat? There was probably a cat. I mean, if there's a cat, I'm after it. Someone almost offered me enough to want to sell it, but then my pen case would lose a lot of soul. No cat, as far as you know. I mean, so here's the other question: were there other colors? I mean, a koi is red, right? So pretty much. I mean, but would they have made them in other colors? I mean, if they had the mold, it's just a matter of putting a different color plastic in there. Interesting. Very interesting. No clue, no maker. Yeah, I mean the nib looks pretty terrible. Uh-oh, what do we got here? Oh, this thing. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Um, yeah, this is. Reminds you when you worked in an office, they wanted to sell some watches where you could pick which sports team logo the customer wanted on the watch. You publish the ad in a sports newspaper. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this thing. You've never inked it, so you're not be able to be the one to try it. Yeah, the nib looks like it would work, I'm sure. Yeah, this is I can get these. These are available. €280. But you can get a 10% discount though if you sign up, give them your email address. Like, that's gotta be just show more for the mini. Yeah, next week. Yeah, it'll be good. It's gotta be a typo, right? It was meant to appeal to younger adults, but there's so much money and look like a $5. Yeah, it needs to be like 28 euros. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. It's floppy. The circulation was like 225,000 newspaper. They got one order. How bad was the watch? How bad was the price? I guess is maybe the next question. This is awful. This is not. Design philosophy. There is no difference between making a pen, a building, a city. The underlying problems are the same. Okay. I think I'll pass. But if y'all want one, just let me know and I'll contact Visconti and so this is the thing, right? It's available, but I have never once heard my rep talk about it. And the stock they're selling is probably the same batch. They probably did somebody a favor. And that was that. Yeah, my rep has never once talked about it. She's probably embarrassed. Because usually you get, and this is this way with most reps for most companies. They will talk up the latest whatever, even if it's a total piece of junk. Oh, this is the best thing ever. It's selling like hotcakes and da da da. And I wasn't born yesterday. And so when I get that from some vendors, I am entirely skeptical, especially when they start in with you can't believe how many are selling these. How many of these we're selling? My response is always the same. Are you getting reorders? Are you getting anything past the first order? Because if you don't get reorders on something, that doesn't mean it's selling. It means you sold somebody to try a product. If you're getting reorders, then that's a different thing. But yeah, they don't even. I have had people try to sell me stuff that was like so bad. I'd be like, maybe no. Like hard sales pitch. I may have a brick and mortar, but I don't need to fill the shelves that bad. Yeah, you like weird stuff, but that one's a little bit too far. Yeah, I really think that the decimal point needs to be moved over. 28, all over it, right? You could sell that. You could sell at least one in every color. You might buy it for 10, yeah. Well, it's going to be 28 until they don't sell any, and then it'll be marked down to 10 as they're trying to blow it out. Yeah, that's. I don't know. Maybe the U.S. distributor doesn't actually have any. That's entirely a possibility too. Like, yeah, if you really want that, we can get it, but we're not investing our money in that tomfoolery. $225,000 people only got one watch. So that kind of reminds me. I was a sponsor for the National Corvette Museum for a couple of years. and you know, big fan. And so we decided we would do a business sponsorship, and we at the time we had the Wall Eversharp. Um, it's in socket output movement, so place you can see it. At the time, we had the Wall Eversharp Skyline pens that had the matching Corvette. They made them in red, a light blue, and like a pastel green. Um, and it was like a C1 Corvette die-cast car, and apparently they had so many of these things. And so, you know what? I wanted to support the Corvette Museum. It's important to me, and so we got the sponsorship, which includes the ability to advertise in their magazine, which comes out 4 times a year. To everybody who's, I mean, the Corvette owners, the large majority of them have disposable income to spend on stupid stuff. And I'm thinking there has got to be somebody who's going to buy a Wall Eversharp Skyline rollerball that comes with a die-cast Corvette. Because I'm on some Corvette forums, and these guys, I mean, they're going all over the place, and they buy every single like Matchbox Corvette that there is. I'm thinking this is a no-brainer. We could sell 100 of these, and we got a beautiful ad. It was really nice. There was something like, you drive the best, now write with the best, or something cheesy like that. But I mean, it was a nice little ad. And somewhere around here, I still have it. We got exactly zero orders. I was just like, really? Not one person said, you know what? Let's get that for Dad for Christmas or his birthday or Father's Day. Nobody bought it. Not a single person. I guess you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? It was a nightmare of a pen to ship, though, because it came in this ridiculously large box. It just wasn't. It was no fun. I mean, you get to sell, you'd be like, oh, great, sale. But, then you're like, well, I don't make full margin on it. And I got to ship it for free because it's over my shipping threshold. And it's going to cost me $20 to ship it. And you end up making like $20 or something on the deal, and you're like, why am I doing this? Make up for it in volume. Guess it just goes to prove you can't guess. What did you do with them? Did I have many? Well, so the deal was is I had a few in stock. I mean, I didn't buy like 1,000 or anything. You know, I didn't buy 100. Um, I had checked with the manufacturer, and they say, yeah, we got a bunch in stock. I mean, I got 100 or whatever in stock, or 200 in stock, because I know like they had like more red than anything else. So I probably only had a couple in stock, and they said, well, if you sell them, we'll fulfill the orders for you, and it just never happened. But it was kind of like, wow, cool, man. I'm in the National Corvette Museum quarterly magazine. There's my name. I'm a sponsor. I got an ad in there. Let's print some money. We printed no money that year. No money. And then the funny thing was, so they promised, they promised like a little plaque. Like, well, whatever, I don't need a plaque, but I mean, if you say you're going to give me a plaque, give me a plaque. I can put it up in my store or whatever. And they didn't send it. And then we kind of reached out and said, well, we're supposed to get a plaque or something. And like, oh yeah, we'll send it to you. Since they sent us this chintzy little piece of plastic that was curved plastic that has, a picture of the museum on it, and it says, business sponsor 2000 whatever. Like, okay, that's cool. Had it on my desk for a while, I guess. I don't know where. I had no idea where it is anymore. I still have it somewhere. But you had placement in the magazine even without selling it. Yeah. We spent some time. We came up with the ad. We gave it to the National Corvette Museum, and they put it in, and because we were allowed like one ad every year or something for free. So if you sold, exhaust supplies or seats or whatever, you would get an ad, and then you could upcharge if you wanted to on something bigger. But maybe the real plaque fell into the sinkhole. Yeah. Have you been, Hans? Have you been to the museum? Will I have a table at the 2025 Ohio Pen Show? No, I will not. You went 15 years ago or so? That was before the sinkhole, I suppose, huh? Yeah, I will be, as it sits right now, I'll be there Thursday, Friday, leaving Saturday morning. Probably. I don't have my hotel booked yet, so I'll probably miss the Saturday auction. But I'll probably leave crack of dawn Thursday morning, get in there Thursday afternoon, stay, do my shopping Thursday afternoon and Friday, and maybe a little bit of Saturday, and then drive home. I'll beat the crowds. Yeah, I've been to the museum a number of times. In fact, when we would go down to the Atlanta show, as it worked out, Bowling Green was a really good stopping point for us. And so we would spend the night somewhere. I mean, for a long time, we just slept in our car, right? And then we'd wake up and we would drive like 2 hours to Bowling Green. We'd go to the museum. We would have lunch or breakfast or whatever what time it was. Visit the museum. Lisa would be like, okay, this is, she walked around once, and then like the second and third time we were like, I'll wait in the car. I think she went in the cafe at one point. I think on the second trip, and she used the Wi-Fi and did stuff. But yeah, I've got all right, Fuzzy. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. See you next week. I was there before, and I have been since. They've really turned in the Gatwood. Thanks for following. They really turned the museum into something else with the sinkhole, because they're they've had great success. They've had great success at exploiting their loss. It is fascinating. It's a fascinating tale. So they've been um, had a lot of traffic since that happened. I remember when it happened. I was actually on the way to the L.A. Pen Show, and I got a text like, "Hey, did you hear about the museum?" No. And a friend of mine, client of ours, regular customer while he lived here, donated a bunch of Corvettes to the museum. He was actually there manning the phones the day of the incident, as people were calling in, and things were happening. So it's a cool, and they do have. I like how they take them. The museum is not always car related stuff. They do have other things that they, or it's not always Corvette stuff. Sometimes it's other cars, and they do a lot with the geology now of the region. So if kids are coming to the museum, there's other things to learn. I mean, it's cool to see Zora's Corvette, but I don't think little kids give two hoots about that. I do actually have a picture somewhere. The first time I was there, they had they always have a Corvette in the lobby, and then you can go and sit in it, and you get your picture taken. You can have your picture taken in it and stuff. And that was the first time I went. I didn't own one, but it was when the C5 was still in production, and so they had a red C5 convertible, and it was the first time I had ever sat in. I think it's the first time I ever sat in a Corvette. And I have a picture of me sitting in there, and I'm like all of 20 something years old. I mean, it was like 30 years ago now. I've got a ponytail, because I had a ponytail for, if you can believe that, I had a ponytail. There was a wedding going on the day I was there. So yeah, it's a cool place to go. Yeah, don't I wouldn't expect to see me in a you do not believe that I had a ponytail. Yeah, I actually twice I've had a ponytail in my life. Uh, after During college and after college, for a while I had a ponytail. As one might expect, society looks down on young men with the ponytail, and you are discriminated against. And I got kind of tired of that, and I was actually trying to clean up my act a little bit. So I always kept it nice and neat. I was always, always in a tail. I was never like, letting it hang out. But I mean, it's a pain. It's a pain. Anybody who's ever had a ponytail, men or women, will know it's no fun to sleep. It's no fun to wash. It's just seems like a good idea. I could say I did it. I just wish I had hair. I guess I don't really need that. I'll leave it open. So these should all have little spacers in. So that's about as far as you're going to go. Because the spacer is, you know, it ends about right where my thumbnail is. What about there? Give or take. Bring it back. You own your own business and work from home. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I much prefer it shorter these days. I don't think it would grow. I really don't think it would grow anymore. People just didn't, you know, my experience was that people would not take a young man with long hair seriously. And I had it down to the lower part of my back. I did it in college and then I cut it because I wanted a job after college. And then I worked for about 4 or 5 years and then I grew it again. Oh, excuse me. You had a cousin who was also a cousin of yours in elementary school. She had hair almost to the ground. Then when we came back from summer vacation, she had cut it short. Yeah, but that was a shock, huh? She probably never grew it long again. It's so heavy on your head. Yeah, that's a real commitment. And you've got to trim it too, because you can't just let it grow. You gotta trim the split end. So you gotta kind of trim it up and then let it grow a little bit, and then trim it up, and then, you know, I mean, it takes a while to get it to grow long. And the sheer amount of hair product you have to put in your hair to wash your hair and conditioner. I mean, it's no thanks. You want to save money on something? Cut your hair. On the other end of that spectrum, since we're talking about nonsense, I shaved my head once too. Actually, in the last 15 years, I shaved my head. Just I told Lisa I was going to do it. She had to warn the kids. Ryan's going to cut his hair. Ryan's going to shave his head. And I did it in the winter, so it was really, really cold. I didn't look too bad with the bald head. kind of considered doing it again recently, but just the price you got to pay to get a men's haircut is ridiculous. Am I right, guys? It is not cheap to get a decent haircut. And I already have a razor, right? I mean, I've got blades for the rest of my life. You get a double-edged razor blade, you are set for ever. You spend $50, you've got enough blades and equipment, so you never have to buy anything ever again. It's factually correct. It didn't last very long. I had a friend of mine who had cancer. Throwing beard trim, yeah. Could almost afford another 45, yeah. My friend had cancer and she was really self-conscious about her hair. And so one day I walked into work and I sat down at her desk and I took my hat off and there was no hair under it. And she felt a little better. And then we had a wig party too. There's pictures of me with wigs. That was kind of fun. I've seen you scrape crusty sack off a pen. It's functionally the same to cut off your own hair. Yeah, it's not too hard. It's a little hard getting through it the first time though. I have significantly less hair now than I did then, so it really wouldn't be that hard. You buzz most of it, and then the rest of it's pretty easy. But yeah, it was like February, January, February, something like that. But cold. Although one should probably use a sharper blade than what that was designed pocket knife. Yeah. Back in the 60s and 70s, your mom went to the beauty parlor once a week, and once a month you got permed. Well, I mean, that was what you did in the 60s and 70s. Everybody did that. Didn't always turn out so great, but maybe when I retire, I'll shave my head again. About I'd only really do it for good causes. I got a friend of mine who's his partner got cancer, and she of course lost her hair, and so he shaved his head too. And I asked him, I said, do you want to shave your head with me and support Donna? And he said, I kind of did it for my girlfriend, and he wasn't going to do it for everybody, so, which I respect. I tell you what though, those wigs are warm. Holy cow. Oh, what do we have? 4:19. Lisa should be getting home soon. Okay. Should I warn Lisa that she will either find you with a shaved head or a ponytail wig when she walks in the door? Yeah. No, I probably won't do it. I'll save it for. Let's just hope I never have to do it again. Just, I did it like why a lot of people do, you know, supporting a friend and. And I can't really grow hair much anymore, so I just wish it didn't cost me $30 to get my hair cut because I'm like $30. It feels like almost a gift, like I'm paying just to converse with my hairdresser. She would go next door to the dry cleaners and pick up your dad's shirt. Each shirt had a piece of cardboard under the collar, then each in a plastic bag, then each in a cardboard box. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Picking up your shirts in boxes. Yeah, I remember that. I don't know, you probably could still do that, although that's not very environmentally. You got a sheep shear? Yeah, I used to have a place, and when I lived in Michigan, I had a place that would do my shirts, and I had a couple really really nice shirts that I took care of. And when I had them dry cleaned after I wear them. Yeah, they'd come to me in a box. It's like sealed up, so you gotta like break the seal to get into it. But what you really want is you want the metal collar stays though. So much better than the cardboard. Heavily starched. Is that nail polish or glue? This is amber shellac. Neither. Amber shellac. And if you're exceptionally astute, yes, it is a Graf von Faber-Castell bottle, ink bottle. Because I use a lot of shellac and occasionally have been known to tip over a bottle. This is an almost impossible bottle to tip over. People do use nail shellac for nails, though, so you're half right. Okay. You were going to ask a little trivia question of what the bottle was? Yeah. This was Lisa's idea. She glued a brush into the cap. And I've been using it for years and years and years and years and years. I told the story before about I had a friend of mine who's a luthier, and he said to me, and he's also into pens a little bit, and he said, well, when I started getting into repairing pens, he says, well, I can make you shellac. We've got shellac flakes in the shop, and yeah, it is so good. It's so good. and it's easy to get, you know, there's the height of the lid. You can easily get it open. You can maneuver it. It's just such a great bottle. Yeah, it is not going to tip over, and that's exactly why I use it. It's better than every other one for that reason alone. But so my buddy offered to make me some shellac, and he says, "Well, okay, so I'll make it." And then, you know, usually when you get shellac, it's really viscous. It's really um, it's not thick, and I like it thick. So usually what I do is I open this up and I let it dry and let some of the liquid evaporate, so it's easier to put on. It stays on the pen. It doesn't make such a mess, which is usually what I recommend people do if they buy it from me, is take the lid off, kind of cock it off to the side, um, so you don't get, you know, anything from the air, you know, in it, and let it evaporate, you know, down half, give or take. So my buddy makes this stuff for me, and of course it's in the same similar type of jar that what I use now, and I've got it on my I had a little small desk, and right next to it I had a file cabinet. So I got it sitting on the file cabinet, and I'm restoring some pens one day, and um, accidentally knocked this thing over. Now it is nowhere near as thick as what I have now, and so it goes everywhere. Like half of the bottle goes, like, just it's all over the file cabinet, the desk, the wood floor. I mean, everywhere. And so I'm in a panic, and I'm trying to scoop it up, and I set the bottle up right, and I'm trying to clean it up as fast as I can. And then in the process, of course, tip it over again and lose another quarter of the bottle. So now I'm down to, like, you know, that much in the bottle out of, you know, that much. Um, yeah, that was a fun day. That was a fun day. So this stuff won't tip over. Oh. So these are all, I don't know why I would even think of saving these, but I'm going to, I guess. These two parts are usable. Probably should just put these in a bag. Because there's the little shim that goes in here. Maybe I can just stick this in here. Yeah, I put a few quarters in the swear jar that day, that's for sure. You know, and then I was out of shellac. You know, that was maybe the worst part. These are leftover vacuumatic diaphragm parts from that vac from last week. If I can get this in here, then we can slide this threaded portion on. We don't have to worry about losing it. Get it? Did I get it? Also, I can use this thread. Oh, got it, and then it fell straight through. probably not worth this effort. Is it used to stick stuff together though? The shellac? It's primarily used to adhere sacks, glue to adhere sacks. Also use it on Parker 51 hoods. You can use it on pretty much any, there we go, any threaded component, although I do use section thread sealant, section sealant that I make for some of those instances. Okay, what do we got? 4:30. We got a half hour. Let's pick out a couple of pens and let's see what we got since we finished. Let's just continue down this path. Ooh, this is a fun one. This will be a fun one to talk about. Never hurts to have more Deluxe. Preferably ones you can get open, but what else? A lot of pencils. I really gotta do something with those things one of these days. What's this? Really don't need any black pens. I've actually sold a couple. Oh, this is nice. Two V clips in the last, 2 or 3 in the last couple days. Really a hard pen to sell. They should sell for more than they're worth, but they never do. If you want to hang on to them, well, I mean, I used to pay, when I'd find these on eBay, I mean, I'd pay 150 bucks a piece for these things. You just can't find them. They are unobtainium. They were only made for 2 years. It was Esterbrook's first. People buy what they know. Yeah, it was Esterbrook's first production pen. I mean, they had already been in business 50 years, and this is the first pen they ever made, first model. It's most distinctive by the cap and this big open clip, which is super, super tight. Super tight to the body. So what happens is when you go try to put this in anything, and I tell people when I sell them this, it's in the description, do not try to put this in your pocket. one of two things will happen. One, you will probably bend this, and then it will never be tight again, because we got a rivet here, kind of rivet deal going on. And two, the other option is because of the way this is designed, and there's only such a small part here, these break off, and then you're done. But cap band placement really close to the lip. Scarcity does not always mean high value. Yeah. You know, the problem with these is you don't always have, you know, for me on a pen like this, I want it to have this flat feed. Now this one's got it. Flat feed nib. To go along with the pen. I don't want one of these full comb feeds that are from the 40s. But they just, you know, they came in two sizes, full size and slender. Almost any color you want, as long as you want it in black. There was a very, very rare hard rubber version. It's just straight. I guess it is. And they came in celluloid, and the celluloid ones have retained their value because they're exceptionally scarce. They made them in, let's see, Morocco red, fern green or foliage green. I can't remember which one it was. The marbled green celluloid, gray pearl with red veins. And was there a fourth one? I can't remember. They're exceptionally scarce. They're very rare. They're very rare. So those are $250 pens. That last one I had, I think, had damage, and we sold it for $250. Do I have a favorite pen to repair and least favorite pen to repair? I guess if it's a pen that I don't like to repair, I don't repair them. One of my least favorite things to repair are these things. Getting 51 and Parker, for that matter, Parker jewels off of caps. I don't like to do it. There's a high failure rate, or it takes weeks to, you know, water, naphtha, heat, water, naphtha, heat, water, heat. I mean, I could probably make one of these faster than it takes to get them off. You know, I've got a $600 pen that I can't sell because that jewel doesn't come out, and I just don't like that repair. I don't like it at all, because if it breaks, number one, I can't tighten the clip up very well. I could probably get it reasonably close without doing something that's not reversible or very difficult to reverse. Or you end up snapping the jewel off. That's no good. And they're just not available. I mean, you can steal it from another pen, but you got to get it off the other pen. You know, I just don't like doing it. You know, I like doing Esterbrook's because they're dependable, they're familiar. You know what you're getting into. I don't mind 51s otherwise, you know, vacuumatics, things like that. You have a question. Notice on the pen there's a hole in the cap. Your Esterbrook has the same. No idea if that's common in others. Seems counterintuitive that they do that, considering pens normally try to seal and keep the nib wet at any point. Yeah, well, it's common. It's very common on vintage pens. I believe the official reason, and I could be wrong, there's actually a couple of reasons for it, is it balances the pressure so that when you unscrew the cap, you don't accidentally suck ink into the cap when you unscrew the cap. Because it's actually below the point where the section and the inner cap meet. So it has no, the pen's already sealed. It has no point in causing that. Yeah, pens were used daily. It really was an issue. The hole kept the suction from moving the cap causing. Yeah, yeah. Actually, there are some prototype Esterbrooks that are marked on the barrel. And what's interesting is like this pen is from 1931, and it has two. But there are some from the 40s where they're actually labeled on the barrel double. I think it says double eyelet experimental, and I think it refers to the number of holes in the cap. So, and they don't do that now for the ink suction. Yeah. Oh well, that one just came right off. My least favorite pens to repair are the pens that don't come apart. Because you never know if the pen you buy is going to come apart or not. So sometimes you do actually buy a pen that doesn't come apart and you're at your SOL. Which is why I don't like to pay a lot of money for anything, because you never know. You know, and you have we have people would say things like, you know, well, I know this pen's worth a lot of money. I said, yeah, but I got to get it apart first. They would sell. They would want to sell me their pens, and I'd be like, well, yeah, that's great. It is a valuable pen. The problem is there's so on certain pens, there's so many places where that repair can go wrong. It's only a valuable pen if it's fully restored. You know, the on Vacuumatics, you got to get, but you don't have to, but you probably need to. You got to get the section off. It's threaded. What if somebody glued that? Well, then you can't get that off. If you need to put a breather tube in there, then you're SOL. You know, I mean, it's really hard. It's going to be hard. It's like threading a needle to get a breather tube in from the back, and you got to get the filling unit out. So if they use glue here, they may have used glue here. You know, and so, and you just don't know. I mean, there could be an issue with crystallization that you don't see. It's starting to happen now with Esterbrook's. And we, for a long time, when you sat in the Esterbrook camp, you'd go like, yeah, you know, all those problems that apply to Parker, Schaefer, Wall, they don't happen to Esterbrook. But I'm seeing on older dollar pens crystallization in caps, translucency happening. And it's just a matter of time before it's a more common problem. If somebody uses glue, is that an amateur that's tried to fix it, or is it common with some pen restorers? Every pen restorer uses shellac. Anybody worth their salt uses shellac. The first rule of pen repair is do no harm. Make sure you can, everything you do should be reversible, ideally. Unless you're dealing with a crack or you're doing something like that. But you know, you should be able to open the pen again. When people use glue, it's just like, I had someone do that with, oh, hang on just a second. I'm going to put you on mute here for a second. All right, sorry about that. Um, yeah, yeah. Somebody recently, I told them, I said, use shellac to seal your pen up, and then they came and they saw me and they said, oh well, I didn't have shellac, so I just used glue. Well, I thought that would be good. That would be a good. No, it's not a good. You think it's Montegrappa on the phone? Yeah, yeah. They want to know how big to make the beak on the cardinal. Which cardinal call they want to make so that when you close the cap, it makes the noise, or when the box opens, it makes which call of the cardinal. You know, it would be funny. It'd be funny to send them an email like you were serious. Hey, listen, I got this great idea for a pen, and see how they reply. Wow, that's a fantastic idea. I think we can sell that for $69.95. 10,000 for the sterling. Yeah, imagine if they were like, let's do it. Imagine. Oh. You know, they'll make it. I get a 25,000 deal 4 months later. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. Wouldn't that be something? That would not be, I have for one pen. Yeah. That's just a prototype. Yeah. 69. Yeah. 69.95. Yeah. Yeah. That's 69.95. Not the first one. Um, I have kept one of, in the past, I had always kept one of every collaboration we made except for two. There were two that I never kept. One was a Franklin Christoph 19, and the other was a Franklin Christoph Pocket 40. I think was the other one I didn't keep. And I would probably be happy not. I don't know. Would you keep a Montegrappa that was a collaboration, or would you go, yeah, it's too expensive to keep? I don't know what I would do. That would be a weird situation to be in, wouldn't it? Because there's not going to be that many of them. You're not going to have. You would have to for that one if it was that elaborate. Yeah. I mean, you usually don't get a chance to rebuy these things. Yeah, if I saw 25 of them, I wouldn't feel bad about keeping one, but I just can't. I can't believe for a minute I would sell three. Three would be a little bit like, holy cow. All right. Well, I got a couple minutes. Let's put these in here. Some of these don't. I've only ever had one Montegrappa that I liked, and I was forced to sell it. I underestimate the market. I'd have pen enthusiasts and bird watchers. Are bird watchers going to spend $7,000 on a pen? Would they do that? I don't know. I gotta laugh every time Lisa calls me when she's on her way home from work, especially on Thursday. Oh, what are you doing? Like, what do I do every Thursday? What do I do every day of the week from 2 to 5 p.m.? I straight. I'm on. Bird wants to. They'll spend 7,000 on a camera lens. Yeah, and twice that in travel, but $7 for a pen is too much. Yeah. That would be something. I had a Sterling. I had a Sterling Montegrappa once. It was a really nice pen. Really beautiful pen. And I bought it at the Long Island Pen Show. So one of my few positive Long Island Pen Show experiences. And it was in a fountain pen hospital that just started selling their parts, selling out their parts. This was, I don't know, 10 years, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And I grabbed, I think I bought this, and there was a problem with the cap. There was a screw missing that held the clip and the finial onto the cap. It was a teeny tiny little screw. That was the only thing wrong with it. And I think I bought it for like 35 bucks. I sent it to Italy. They fixed it, sent it back, all polished up, 2-tone 18-karat gold nib. I mean, it was off the charts. It was really beautiful. It kind of wrote kind of meh. No, I mean, I guess it's kind of common experience with Montegrappa, but I tell you, it was chased Sterling cap and barrel. It was really something else. They did sell a lot of those as seen on TV birdsong clocks. Oh man, yeah. Yeah, you see them at Goodwill now. And by the pile. Or you might see them in the Habitat for Humanity to restore. If I gotta throw those in, I gotta change this water out tomorrow anyway. So I didn't talk about this one before I took it apart, but this is the other variation of the SM Deluxe. And you see it's got a threaded section. So obviously the cap has changed. It's not your standard section. So with these, usually what I do is, because I don't know if it's a friction fit or a threaded, I always try to rotate it a little bit. If I feel the spring move, then I know it's a friction fit cap. If it unscrews, then you know it's a threaded. And in this case, we've got a spade style lever. But they also came with the spoon style later on, like we talked about yesterday. I don't believe the spoon style is to be found on the friction fit cap version, but all right. I'm probably going to leave those in there. I'm going to let those run through the ultrasonic. I am going to close this up. I got a couple things to do. I've got packages I have yet to receive. Some more things to put up on the website that I didn't get a chance to. Maybe the pen had real cardinal eggshell instead of rodden on the barrel. Okay. Yeah, so this is the last pen repair stream for the week. Don't forget, tomorrow, 1:30 Central, we will have podcast number 2. Live, 1:30 p.m. Probably till 2:15, 2:30. Depends on how yammering we get. So that should be fun. We'll see if we can do it again. I'm sure we'll remember how to do it. And then we'll have the weekend. Have a great weekend to you, Lee. Thank you. Your most expensive pen is a Diplomat Zep, which you won in a drawing. Yeah, that's an expensive pen. Holy moly. Good for you. It's cool looking. I give you that. That's a cool looking pen. I bet it writes pretty good. Diplomat always did a good job. Oh, we did a Diplomat. Well, it wasn't really exclusive. I came up with the idea, and they kind of stole it from me. They said, "Well, if you don't do this, we'll." That's another story for another day. I won't talk about that. You'll be watching tomorrow. All right, sounds good, Glenn. All right, so we'll see you all tomorrow. If I don't see you tomorrow, we'll see you on Monday. Have a good evening, a good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Be kind, be well, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye now.